Ahoy, Buccaneers and Buccarinas. My name is Captain Yugioh, and man, there has been a lot that's happened since my last video, I gotta say. I really wish that I was able to make this video a lot sooner, but unfortunately, things have happened on my end, technically speaking, so that's why I haven't been able to upload a video in a while, especially Yu-Gi-Oh related, especially Overwatch related, especially Hearthstone related, but I figured I'd start making videos while I was unable to because my computer doesn't have any sound right now, which means I can't really edit anything on it, so I've had to get another one. It's been a process. But in any case, I figured I'd just make this video for posterity's sake, even though I know for a fact that there has been the new Eternity Code Plunder Patrolls have already been revealed. I'm talking about those in a separate video, but I wanted to get this video down more so for posterity's sake because I wanted to talk about this deck much sooner, but unfortunately I couldn't. I wanted to introduce kind of like a pre-Eternity Code Plunder Patrol deck. Pre-Eternity Code, so it doesn't have the new support in it. It's not reliant on the new support. It doesn't take the new support into account. And I think, honestly, with the new support, this deck isn't even that viable anymore. So, for the next month, though, if you wanted to try this deck out, this deck can be pretty fun. If you want to just try it with your friends or something like that, or try it out online, pre-Eternity Code stuff, but obviously, online stuff is going to have the new stuff, so it's like, I'm telling you, this deck would be like really nice to talk about before all this. So, before anything else, don't forget to like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. We do Overwatch videos on Tuesdays, Hearthstone videos on Thursdays, and Yu-Gi-Oh videos every single Friday. So, let's talk about this fun little deck idea I had. So, because it is a Plunder Patrol deck, obviously we still have the usual suspects, the 3 each, and the 2 booty. So we got the 3 Whitebeards, the 3 Redbeards, the 3 Shipyards, the 2 booties. Your Searcher that gets out your Redbeard that can attach to anything whenever it goes to the graveyard, your Plunder Patrol Shipyard to get anything you want, and Booty for attribute fixing and the like, which may not even be that big of an issue anymore because there's a new equip spell that'll handle that. So, what did I mix them up with this time though? I decided that I was going to try and mix them up actually with Fluffals of all the things. So we have basically 3 each of dog, 3 each of bear, 3 toy vendor, and then a pair of wings. So, why did I go with this? So, why did I decide on this? Well, for starters, this is a fantastic little draw engine right here. Like, if you get dog as a starter, you can add bear to your hand. If you start with bear in your hand, you get to immediately discard it, and you get a vendor set directly to your field. Vendor can discard a card, then draws you a card, and if that happens to be a Fluffal monster, which these are not the only ones, if it happens to be a Fluffal monster, you can special summon any monster from your hand, which, you know, say you discard Whitebeard, but then you draw a Fluffal monster, and then you can summon another monster, that's an easy Blackbeard right there. If not, it gets sent to the graveyard. So you still plus off of that if it's another Plunder Patrol monster, so that's pretty good. And then Fluffal Wings, if you're familiar with Fluffals at all, Fluffal Wings, when it's in your graveyard, you can banish it and another Fluffal monster to draw a card, then you can send a toy vendor to your graveyard, draw another card, and then the toy vendor's effect will activate to add I believe it's let me double check, it's a Edge Imp Sabers or Fluffal monster, so it's extremely plussy. Like the Fluffals are a combo-oriented fusion-based strategy anyway, but like, you can run this engine in like a lot of different things. Like this is basically, if you wanted to try a Fluffal engine, this is your engine basically, more or less. Yeah, you also throw in like Edge Imp Sabers. You might have like Frightfur Patchwork or something, but like this is pretty much the go-to part of this. Now, the other part of the Fluffals bit, of course, actually comes down to Fluffal Penguin. Fluffal Penguin is a level 4 water monster, which is fantastic because the Plunder Patrolls are level 4 water monsters, which is very important for an extra deck reason I will show up. Now, with Fluffal Penguin, you can special summon a Fluffal from your hand. When you use it in your fusion summon, you actually get to draw 2 cards and discard 1, which can trigger more Plunder Patrol effects. It's very useful. It's a very big starting kind of card. It's very useful for the deck, so definitely would run it in this particular variant. Now, as for the Edge Imps, we just have a couple of Chain and a Sabers. Sabers is important because a couple of the fusion monsters require specifically Edge Imp Sabers, notably I think it's Tiger. I also have Wolf currently in the extra deck, but you could just replace that with like something like Daredevil. And then Edge Imp Chain. Edge Imp Chain, you use this, and basically, like, if you can, you can attack with it, you know, you'll add another one from your deck to your hand, but that's not really important. What you want to do is send it from your hand or field to the graveyard, and then you'll be able to add any Frightfur card. So, for instance, you can add Frightfur Patchwork, the great card that nets you every bit of advantage in a Fluffal deck, because this gets you an Edgent monster and it gets you a polymerization, and that's basically exactly what you want. So obviously we throw in the polymerization, and the other Frightfur card we have is Frightfur Fusion. That's the other target for our Edgent chain. If you don't have either of these in your deck, then, you know, it's not good. So you try and basically, so the general gist of things is that you want to try and get part of their combination of things to get Chain to the Grave, which will get you Frightfur Patchwork, which that's just additional plussing, because then you can add another Edgent Chain, or you can add Edgent Sabers and the Polymerization card. If you've already got, like, your Frightfur Patchwork off, you can't really use it because you only run the one Polymerization, but that's where Frightfur Fusion comes in, and then you can banish stuff, and that's really, really good. Like, this deck can get some crazy pluses. Because of that, we also run 3 Ash, 2 Called By. That's kind of like the standard bit that I found. 1 pot, 1 Monster Reborn. I don't draw into these very often because I only run them at 1 copy apiece, but when I do, I mean, the deck goes insane with pluses. When you get a really good hand and get a good setup going, you can plus off insanely well, and then Pot of Avarice is just like bam, and then Monster Reborn is just like bam, and it extends the plays and the like. So as long as you don't lock yourself down to Plunder Patrolls with Whitebeard too soon, you could just go nuts with this deck. So meanwhile, extra deck, I'm still running 2 Bran, I'm running 3 Blackbeard, I'm still running 2 Moerk. That's basically just kind of my standard lineup. This is going to change because they just revealed a fusion monster, Liz, which I think that means I'm probably going to drop the Bran down to 1, and possibly the Blackbeard down to 2, maybe. But, like, this is kind of, like, more or less what I'm looking at right now. But Bran does not seem as necessary in the deck, and it's going to be a lot easier to summon Bran, thankfully, because, you know, now there will be a guaranteed fire base to go off of. More on that in another video. But as for the Frightfur parts, I run, obviously, Kraken. Kraken is probably the best Frightfur monster. Tiger is another really good one for breaking boards. Sabertooth, just really strong, especially when you get a Frightfur monster out. And then I've got Wolf right now. Like I said, this one's kind of just replaceable. You could put in Sheep if you want to go on the, you know, Edge of Chain, or you can go with Daredevil, which does burn damage and is just, you know, a little more generic. So, but if you wanted to try and attack multiple times, a good thing about every single one of the Frightfur monsters is that they're all fiends. So, basically, when you've got something like Bran out on the field, they're all getting plus 500 attack. Bran does power them all up by 500 apiece, so that's pretty useful to know in general with this particular part of it. And then in the extra deck, otherwise, we still kept the Abyss Dweller, we kept the Emerald. Emerald, again, it's more so for the boost on the consistency on running things. Obviously, we took out, because we swapped out Senka's stuff, the Ancient Warriors, we don't run Red Eyes Flare Metal. I dropped Baguska, but the main reason I dropped Baguska, the main reason I only have like 4 Frightfur monsters is because we're adding in the Bahamut Shark Totally Awesome bit. So, with Bahamut Shark, you have to have 2 level 4 water monsters, which Fluffal Penguin does help out with that because it counts as a water monster. That's really, really good, so you can sometimes get moments where you have, like, one of the Plunder Patrolls and Fluffal Penguin on the field, and you can just go into Bahamut Shark. We are running off of the Master Rule 5 list, so this is fine. You don't have to worry about, like, putting it in a specific zone for Blackbeard. And then, obviously, with Bahamut Shark, you detach material, you play Toad. Totally Awesome. And then, during your opponent's turn, you just use Totally Awesome, tribute itself, then you add it back onto your extra deck because that's its effect. You can target a water monster, any water monster in your graveyard, and that'll go back to your hand. But in the case of an extra monster, it has to go to the extra deck. So that's basically, you recycle it, and then if Bahamut Shark lives, you get good. You get good! So, like, let's say we're going second. Ooh, nice. Alright, so let's say we're going second with this hand. Obviously, we're going to draw a card, so as standard practice. Boy, did we just nail... We just got a really good hand right there, didn't we? Alright, so here's the thing. So first off, Fluffal Bear. Good. Done and done. You got Toy Vendor, set it at the field. then you just shuffle the deck. Toy Vendor, of course, will activate, and you'll use its effect, basically, to discard a card. You can actually discard, if you wanted, you can discard the Shipyard, because if you get a Plunder Patrol on your field in your spell and trap zone, you can just set it back to your field by bouncing it back to your hand. So it's like we can do this, and then we're gonna just nice and easy shuffle our deck, cut the deck as is standard, and then we're gonna check, see, oh, hey, look at that, we got Fluffal Wings, awesome. That's actually pretty decent. So what we'll do is we'll use the power of our deck here. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. We will special summon that Fluffal Wings right out to the field, and then we'll normal summon our Redbeard. We're gonna use them in a link. We're gonna get right into our Blackbeard, you know, good old Blackie here. And Redbeard will use his effect to come back to Spell and Trap Zone. And then we can use Plunder Patrol Shipyard's effect, bounce it back to hand, set the spell, activate the spell, discard the Redbeard again, and suddenly we've got Whitebeard in hand. For instance, like, this is the kind of thing your deck can do now. And then, we're not even done yet. We still have the wings, and we have a bear, so that means wings and bear go away, you get another draw, you send the vendor, you draw again, you get to do another thing with this, where you go edge of chain. Did I mention this deck can plus? You just added like 3 cards to your hand. That's nuts. Look at this. Look at this hand I just added and stuff. Like, also, we just drew a Toy Vendor. Do you know what this means? It means we just plussed more. Note very, very closely, this is not a once per turn effect. I mean, it is a once per turn effect, but it's not a hard once per turn effect. In other words, we can use this effect again. So, check this out. Send that to the graveyard. Looks like we get to draw a card. Oh my god, it's another Fluffal. It's another Fluffal. Guess we're gonna summon... No, you know what? We're gonna summon Penguin to the field. Edge of Chain goes off. Guess what we just get to add to our hand directly? That's right, Fright for Patchwork. Guess what Fright for Patchwork does? We get that for ourselves, we get that Edge of Sabers, we get that polymerization. That's right, we are going big on this right now, aren't we? My goodness, it's like that's exactly the point of this deck. Poly that. We just get that off, we get that going. Heck, we could throw in a bear if we wanted to. We could do that, we could. But instead, how about I do this? How about we do this? We special summon that bear with our penguin, then we poly, throw these 2 into the grave, and remember, we're still going here. That's Fright for Kraken. Doesn't matter where we put that Fright for Kraken, that Kraken can go anywhere. Kraken sends a monster, it's all good. Hey, guess what we can do? We just got a poly in the grave. Guess I can use this bear now, you know? Attribute it, get that poly back. No, wait, we can't do that because we've already used his effect. But that's okay, because guess what? Blackbeard. Use this, bam! You suddenly get a Mawerk, or a Bran, or another Blackbeard. Don't ever put another Blackbeard with Blackbeard, but you get to put one of these guys out, and that's right, you draw a card. Did I mention this deck can plus? I haven't even played the Pot of Avarice yet, and yet look at that, we are 4 cards down. You use one of these effects, discard the Whitebeard, then you get to add another card to your hand, like say Shipyard, in the case of Mawerk, or maybe let's just be generous and say it's the other guy, it's like it's a Redbeard. And then you can play Pot of Avarice, and then suddenly you're going even more. I didn't even draw off a Penguin. I should have drawn off a Penguin, because then we could have even more cards. And then suddenly, you're just plussing. You're plussing for days. So, needless to say, this deck is pretty nice, pretty cool. It is pre-eternity code, so you can try it out for yourself right now if you've got the Fluffal cards at home. And hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Take it easy, peeps.